My goodness, you have an epic new EP out right now, and I'm really intrigued by services. What are some of the themes you explore on this EP?
Well, it's a companion piece to my first EP, Goods, so goods and services. So it's really kind of the second part of exploring, really who I am as a solo artist coming from sort of a more of a group dynamic. So what is my voice? So it was during the pandemic. Obviously, everyone was going through all kinds of stuff. But there's a lot starting with like self-love and trying to kind of like find yourself as your own person. So that was like a big one. And then there's other themes of like there's a lot of love in there. Um there's like, yeah, it's a lot of like self discovery and self-love, I'd say.
Well, the first single, Okay, is out now. What made that want to be the first song off of this beautiful EP?
So we actually came out with two singles before that.
Oh,
But this is like the focus track of the album when it came out, which is there's a transitional, I'm kind of in a transitional time of like leaving a group band and kind of going on my own. And just like getting out of all people can look at all kinds of relationships, trying to figure out the leaving, and it's okay that you're leaving and like kind of taking back yourself and trying to just, it ends with the whole I never needed you. Cause like a lot of the times we always think that we can't leave something because we need that person or that thing or whatever it is. So, that was a really powerful statement for me to make that like, it's okay. I'm going to go and I'm going to be good and you're going to be good. We're all going to be good.
what's your typical songwriting process? Do you need to have music before you can come up with lyrics, or does it work even backwards that way?
I think there's, for me at least, and I can only speak for myself, there's not really one way that it always works. It's kind of like an organic, it's different. So for this EP, my producer and partner Mega, we wrote it all with a couple other people, mostly Mackenzie Green. And sometimes we would start with like a beat from Mega and then kind of talk about like what do we feel like expressing and then kind of go from there. Or sometimes I or someone will come up with a hook and be like, I'm hearing this thing, and then kind of make it around that. So it really kind of depends. Like I don't really have one way that it always happens, but usually for me it's more of a collaborative process and less of like a me just sitting by myself and writing. For me it's kind of like bringing other people into it.
How much of a say then when it comes to the production side do you have? I know you mentioned Mega's assistance, but do you have a say, specific say in the final product?
Oh yeah, totally. I'd say we very much do it together. It's our music. At the end of the day, uh, I think Mega really wants it to be like an expression of me and my voice. And, so usually I don't know, I'm kind of the final one of like, this is what I'm feeling. But it's really, we do it together and like, push each other and kind of, I'll come back. He'll be like, what do you think of this beat? Or what do you think of this? And I'll be like, let's tweak it like that, and vice versa. And like in the studio when I'm recording vocals, he's very much there to kind of push me and say like, well, what if you did it this way? Or what if you made it sound a little more like this? So it's we make this music together for sure.
Well, there's so many tracks on this album that I feel are very touching and also very powerful. Are there specific songs that, or maybe a specific song that really holds a special significance for you off of this EP services?
Yeah. I think we already talked about okay. So that was definitely a big, powerful one. We were like, at first it was going to be the first track. And then I was like, you know what? I think I want to like end with that. And just because it's the last track of the EP, of just kind of like, this is where I am now. So that one I'd say is probably the most significant, but Toxic, which is the first song, which is kind of, the whole idea, the hook is how you going to love me if I don't even love me. So I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. It's like everyone wants to be in these relationships and can't really be a good partner if you don't love yourself first. So that kind of means a lot to me, of just like really getting in touch with that.
Very true. Is there then a single off of the EP that really challenged you the most creatively?
I think Hooked, which was that was actually the first single that came out, which is more the funk upbeat party track. It's like, you're dancing, it's the dance one. And that was the last one I think we wrote. Because again, like the time that we were in of the pandemic and like we moved from New York to LA. So it was like super intense and heavy. It was like, the world felt intense and heavy at the time. And so to kind of try and like switch into that, like, no, we want to like have some levity, some funky dance moments where we can kind of like, all right, there's been a lot of feelings so far. We've been putting a lot of our feelings out there. So like maybe we can so that one, maybe, yeah, maybe that was a little challenge to be like, let that heaviness go and kind of just let's have some fun. So, but once we got in there, once we were like, all right, this is great, let's do this funk track.
You're a part of social media. What kind of fan feedback have you already been receiving to your singles and the EP?
I mean, it's been great. I mean, everyone, I could say it's only been positive, and people, saying that a lot of the content that like we were just talking about, of just like the self-discovery and the self-love, I think is something that's really warranted right now, and that people are wanting and really identify, and it's relatable. So I think especially in the scene that I'm in, live music wise, which is kind of like the funk and jam scene, um, it's super male heavy and super targeted everything towards males, which like a lot of things are. But I think specifically in that demographic, it's been really nice to see the female fans come out, that are like, I don't really get to hear a lot of this kind of stuff and music in this scene particularly. So it's been nice to see that demographic being like, oh my God, there's someone that's like catering to me, that's like targeting what I'm going through. And that part's been a really nice thing to see.
Well, you're out on tour these days, and what kind of response then have you been receiving to playing some of the singles off services live?
Well, we just came from Miami last weekend, where we got to play a lot of this stuff. And it's very new because we haven't gotten to play a lot of this stuff live. It just came out, and kind of really just starting the touring now. So, I mean, it's so awesome. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing like people either recognize the songs or hear it for the first time and like not expect that to come from me, because again, coming from a background of like a different band, people be like, oh, this is another side. So I mean, the response is great. I think it's just like we're trying to smack them with a show, and then they get it.
What do you hope people take away from exploring services as a whole?
I hope that they really take away who I am and what my voice is like, and like what I'm about and where I'm going and the kind of music that I want to make. And also just hopefully it makes them want more and dig into, the first EP, and just kind of like come along with me for the journey, because I'm like it's very much at the beginning of it. And so even from the first EP to the second, there's been so much growth and change and progress, which is the idea. So I just hope that like they want to come for the ride.
Are you working on any new music at this time, or are you solely focused right now on promoting services and this tour you're on?
A little bit of both. I mean, the idea is we're getting started on a full length album, which we're still definitely in promotion mode, pushing services for sure. But yeah, I'm excited to like release that and like give it to the world. Services is out, and then like move on to the next thing, so we can like keep growing, keep making music, keep developing and giving, putting art and music out there. So working on the new stuff, which will be a while, because as costs a lot of money to put out records. But yeah, we're getting there, and it's been a really great time like playing all this music. I want to be able to play it a while first.
Who would you love to collaborate with on a song in the future? A dream collaboration you have?
Anyone? Anyone? I mean, like my idol, one of my favorite singers right now, alive, out right now, is Jasmine Sullivan. She's, I mean, I think one of the greatest living singers of our generation. So that would be really cool. I mean, the dopeness of the Sonic guys, Anderson.Paak and Bruno Mars would be pretty dope. Um, yeah, I mean, those would be two dreams for sure in that kind of realm.
Well, what would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible music that you make?
Aw. Um, I just want to say like how much it means to me and how much it means to all artists, like, you know, like all the fans and people that support live music and recorded music, just music in general. It's like it it is so important for the world, and it's like it's doing good work for the world by supporting artists and supporting music. Thank you for
Absolutely.
doing this. It's like we need it so badly right now. We've always needed it, but you know, it's just to put that message out there that like keep supporting because it's doing good for the world, and then like let's in general take that out of just supporting music and just like let's be better to each other, let's be kind, let's be good, and music always.